Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. This is Divya Agarwal from Unacademy. So friends, basically as you know that in last video we have discussed about the methods how to prepare carbenes. So this is my profile on Unacademy. Below description there are the links through which you can go through this profile, and there you will find lots of courses which are around 70 to 80% of the platform is free, so you can go and enroll and you can be the part of the classes. Okay, some are recorded, some are live. So let's start carbenes, that is part 6. Okay, so in last video we have discussed about how to prepare carbenes. Now we will be using now we'll be doing some of the chemical reactions. Okay, so before moving to chemical reactions, I will be starting with the diazo compounds. Okay, what are diazo compounds and how diazo compounds can be used to prepare carbenes, and how these diazo compounds can further be like which form of diazo compound can be used to prepare carbenes. Okay, so we will be discussing about diazo compounds today, and there will be some more examples along with. Okay, so now if you are new to the channel, kindly subscribe and share with your friends, and also like the video. Okay, so first of all guys, you should know the points, that is what are diazo compound. Basically this is diazo compound. Okay, diazo compounds, like I can say diazomethane. This is diazomethane. Okay, if more in elaborative manner, what I can do, I can put it like this also: N triple bond N, here I'll be getting one positive charge, here I'll be putting one negative charge. So this is diazomethane. Okay, diazomethane. So let me tell you one thing, this diazomethane can have three types of characters. Okay, first of all, it can have a basic behavior. Okay, it can have a basic behavior. Second, it can have nucleophilic behavior. Okay, nucleophilic behavior, and also it will be having electrophilic behavior. It will be having electrophilic behavior as well. Electrophilic behavior as well, but we will not go in more detail of this basic behavior, nucleophilic and electrophilic. What I'll be dealing with is I'll be telling you that how how diazo compounds work and how do they generate carbenes, because this we'll discuss in reagents. Okay, details we'll discuss in reagents. So first point, basic behavior. Okay, so first point is basic behavior. So let's see how it works. So this is diazomethane, you can see directly this is diazomethane. Okay, so now if I just write it like this, what I can do guys, I can make it resonate, right? I can make it resonate. So like this it can resonate, isn't it? So here I'll be getting one negative charge, here I'll be getting one positive charge. So this is how it will resonate. Now see, if I treat it with any sort of acid, so in this acid, if I treat it with diazomethane, okay, I'll be writing in shortcut only. So this negative charge will abstract this proton, and ultimately there will be the formation of this thing, CO minus, and there will be the formation of a CH3N2 positive charge. Fine. So in this method, you can see that this is acting as a base. Why is it acting as a base? Because it have abstracted this proton, right? This have abstracted this proton, so therefore it is acting as a base. So now if this negative charge will attack this CH3, and this N2 will get eliminated. So this will ultimately form this. We call it methyl ester. Methyl ester. This is methyl ester. Am I clear? So this is one point. This is how it works as a base. Okay. So let me erase this. I hope this is clear. This is very much clear. Okay. So if you have any query, what you can do, you can comment down so that I can cover your comments in next video. Okay. So now next point is if I write this, that is phenol. If I write phenol, and if to this phenol I treated with this diazomethane. So basically what will happen, this negative charge will abstract this proton, and it will ultimately form this thing, that is O minus. Fine. And yes, CH3N2 was generated just like in previous case. Fine. So now this negative charge will again attack this CH3, this N2 will get eliminated, and this will ultimately form this thing, that is O and then CH3. We call this as methyl ether. You can see this is methyl ether, isn't it? Initially we have started with, that was ester, methyl ester. This is ether. Fine. So I hope this part is very much clear to you all. Now we will discuss some of the nucleophilic behaviors. Okay. So before moving forward, let me tell you one thing, my friends. I'm using for this topic I'm using Carothers. book, name of the book I'm using is Carruthers, okay, William Carruthers. So if you don't have William, if you have Carruthers, well and good. If you don't have, then you can use Claydon and many more books also. Okay, so okay, fine. So now next thing is nucleophilic behavior. Next thing is nucleophilic behavior. Okay, so nucleophilic behavior, let's take one example, say RCOCl. If I treated with, if I treated with this thing, C, so what will happen? This negative charge will attack this carbon and this chlorine will get eliminated, isn't it? So this will ultimately form this thing, that is CH2, okay, and this N2 with one positive charge. So this is basically substitution. This part, as because this have attacked this particular carbon, and there is a formation of a carbon-carbon bond. So therefore we'll say that this is nucleophilic attack. This carbon have attacked that carbon, and ultimately there is a formation of a carbon-carbon bond, isn't it? Okay, so this carbon-carbon bond is generated. Fine, this bond is generated. Now what I'm saying is, now if I treat it with any sort of say base, okay, if I treat it with base, then which proton is acidic? You can directly see that this proton is acidic, isn't it? This proton is acidic. As because this proton is acidic, what I can do is I will be getting this negative charge. So this is basically one thing. Okay, now what I can do, this is anionic part, and this N2 is a good leaving group. Now what I can do, once this part is formed, what I can do is if I just heat it, or if I provide it with any sort of light, otherwise it can undergo rearrangement also. There can be Wolff rearrangement and there will be the formation of a ketene, but at present I don't want ketene. What I want is I want carbene. So what I'll do, will just provide it with ketene. You know what is ketene? This electron pair will move here and this alkyl will get shifted and there will be a formation of a C double bond O, ketene. But I don't want ketene. What I want carbene. So what I'll do, I'll just provide it with heat and light. So this will ultimately result in this part, CH and that minus. So this I'm sorry, not minus, this part will be generated. Okay, and what is this? This is carbene. This is carbene. So this is one method which you can use further to prepare carbene. Am I clear? So just note this, that whensoever any this type of ketones are present, and if it is treated with DAM, diazomethane, then ultimately there will be the formation. There is a strong possibility, if heat is mentioned or light is mentioned, that there will be the formation of a carbene. And these questions are very, very, very important for the competitive exams, right? Okay, so let me give you some more examples. I hope this part is very much clear to you all. It was not complicated, okay, it was easy. So now next thing is, like, if I want to prepare carbenes using some metallic reagents, say rhodium. There are some examples of rhodium, RHOAC whole 4. Okay, this is a very good reagent and very common nowadays for competitive exams. Okay, in competitive exam, this rhodium, it's very, very, very common, very much seen. Okay, this is rhodium in +2 state basically. Okay, you can even use copper in +1 state also. You can also take silver in +1 state. All will be doing the same work. Okay, I'm not saying that you take, it depends on the question paper, okay, which reagent they have used. Fine. So these metallic species, they prepare carbenes, and these carbenes are, noteworthy point is, these carbenes are not free at all. They are not free, means they are not free. How? Because they are always metal generated carbenes. As because they are metal generated carbenes, they are because metal generated carbene, so basically they will be in the form of a either ligand, means there will be some ligands attached, so it will be always in the form of formation of a complex. Say if I write Ln RH double bond CH2, so this is the carbene. This, what is Ln? Ln means ligands. I'll put N indicate the number of ligands which are attached. So this is basically organometallic reagent, isn't it? So is in this organometallic reagent, this part is acting as a carbene. So these carbenes are basically in the form of a carbenoid. We call them as carbenoid. We don't call them as carbenes, because these carbenoids are not free. They are always attached with the metal. So they have different way of working. Okay, they have different way of working. I hope this part is very much clear to you all. Yes, this part is very much clear to you all. So I hope you must have learned something from this video. Okay. So this is my profile on Academy, friends. So what you can do is I'll be giving the links in description. You can get these special classes recorded and live. There are more than 1000. Okay, fine. and along with that, these are some free courses you can go through, and these are some courses for IIT JAM. If you want to prepare for IIT JAM, then you can go through. So recently, abhi at present, I'm teaching stereochemistry, and soon I'll be starting with this topic, that is periodic table, bioinorganic, and main group chemistry. So still, if you are not the part of Unacademy, if you want to be the part, so come and take the classes. Okay, so these are very easy to. Okay, so I hope you don't have any doubt, any query. So thank you so much for being with me.